Call to order.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is a moment of silence. Thank you. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next item is Dr. Fox, any agenda changes or additions?
Yes, I would like to add an additional action item, 8.05, for a 2021-22 academic calendar year revision.
Okay. Any other?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda with the additional changes?
So move.
I have a motion from Mrs. Smoot. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Painter. It's a second.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is a certification of matters discussed in closed session. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the action taken in, I'm sorry.
Just the certification.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I certify that personnel matters discussed in closed session, section 2.2-3711A1.
Thank you. I have a motion for Mrs. Smoot. Do I have a second?
Second.
Who was the second? Mr. Gubler? Mr. Lansbury. And a second by Mr. Lansbury.
Mr. Payne.
Yes.
Mr. Gubler.
Yes.
Mr. Lansbury.
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan-Street.
Yes.
Mr. Breeden.
Yes. Next on our agenda is an information presentation from Page County High School FCCLA. And I don't know who that's from. There's no name.
Ms. Comer and her students will be joining us. Mhm.
I like the good jacket.
Hello. Thank you so much for giving us a few minutes of your time to talk to you about FCCLA. I am Emma Sellers, a senior at Page County High School, and I'm currently serving as the Virginia Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America State President.
And I'm Joey Miller, FCCLA's State Vice President of Membership. As we go through our brief presentation, we're going to ask that you get involved by playing higher or lower. We're going to share several numbers with you, but they are all incorrect. Your job is to tell us if the correct answer is higher or lower. Feel free to shout out higher or lower for each answer. FCCLA Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America is a student-led organization found in middle and high schools across the nation. We currently have over 650 members in Page County, higher or lower.
Lower.
Is that your final answer, lower? The correct answer is actually higher, over 690 members. There are approximately 155,000 members nationwide. Emma and I were elected to serve as state officers for the 2021-2022 year this past April. We attended our officer training in Harrisonburg, and our first official responsibility was to attend the national conference in Nashville. I attended virtually, and Emma attended in person.
At the national conference, Page County High School was announced the national winner of the Student Body Award. Our award was for painting the sensory path at Shenandoah Elementary School. Our award included $500. Higher or lower?
Higher.
Higher.
The correct answer is higher. The award was for $1,000.
Also at the conference, 2 students from Page County High School placed in the top 3 in the nation in competitive events. Higher or lower?
Higher.
The answer is higher. 6 students placed in the top 3 nationally. Micah Howen and Victoria Groves placed first in instructional video design. Emma Sellers and Destiny Campbell placed third in FCCLA chapter website. And Mason Hilliard and Abby McInturf placed third in chapter service project. Each of these students were awarded a $10,000 scholarship to Sullivan University. Higher or lower?
What was the number again?
$10,000.
Lower.
Lower.
The answer is higher. $50,000 each for first place and $20,000 each for third place. Also at this conference, 2 Page County High School and 3 Page County Middle School students won medals in their respective events. I won gold in Repurpose and Redesign, and Hannah Thomas and Abigail Sellers won bronze in the Focus on Children event. Ethan Lucas and Kennedy Weatherman from Page County High School won gold medals.
In July, the Luray High School FCCLA advisor and FCCLA members helped create and be a part of the greatly successful Bulldog Nation event. For those who may not be familiar, Bulldog Nation was organized with the goals to spend time with students to develop leadership skills and connect or reconnect with the Luray High School learning community and the opportunities offered at LHS. FCCLA collaborated with FBLA and Mr. Painter to create a community service interactive station at the event. Students and members competed in relay races with the goal of packing food bags for our local daycares. The students were successful in packing 250 lunch bags to go to our daycares for their summer programs. Higher or lower?
Higher.
The answer is higher. Luray High School packed 260 lunches for local daycares.
In July, Emma and I attended the Virginia Family Consumer Sciences Teachers Professional Development Conference with our advisors in Arlington. We represented FCCLA by making presentations to more than 200 teachers. Higher or lower?
Higher.
Higher.
This one is lower. Many schools were still not allowing teachers to travel, so the conference was attended by just over 100 teachers.
In September, we traveled to Lexington, Virginia to plan for our year as state officers and to start planning for our State Leadership and Recognition Conference in 2022.
In September, we also attended FCCLA Day at the State Fair in Doswell, Virginia. Students from Luray High School, Page County High School, Luray Middle School, and Page County Middle School all attended this event. Emma and I judged over 1,000 contest entries. Higher or lower?
Lower.
Lower. The correct answer is over 400. We were pleased with the turnout and were excited to see members from across our state. Micah Howen won the FCCLA Wear Clothing Competition. Ethan Lucas won the Home Design Competition for this Senior Division, and Hannah Thomas won the FCCLA Home Design Competition for the Junior Division. Every Page County FCCLA chapter had participants in the FCCLA contests. Speaking of the fair, there are over 1,000 calories in an order of deep-fried Oreos. Higher or lower?
Higher.
Higher.
Lower. The correct answer is 900 calories. That's almost half of what the average adult needs in a day.
September was also a busy month at Luray High School, as members in the Introduction to Early Childhood classes learned about the importance of developmentally appropriate practices. They made their own slime and donated the recipe and slime to children and parents in the community. Slime was distributed to 20 families in the community, higher or lower.
Higher.
Higher. The slime and recipes were donated to 22 families. Also, students had the opportunity to participate in the school's first chapter meeting of the year, where members participated in a fashion show using recyclable materials to make their apparel for the show. They incorporated their ideas into projects for the Virginia FCCLA Day at the State Fair.
Page County Middle School launched their membership campaign in September with the lemon theme, Squeeze the Day in FCCLA. Members participated in a variety of activities during our membership week to educate and recruit them to join FCCLA in our first chapter. And that resulted in our first chapter meeting where we held an FCCLA trivia contest and ice cream social. Members were given the opportunity during September to plan out state fair projects, and we held officer elections for the year. 75 students participated in our first meeting. Higher or lower?
Higher.
Lower. We had 52 students at our first meeting of the year. We were so pleased with our turnout for our first meeting, and we hope to continue building our participation throughout the year.
Luray Middle School also had 2 students enter the FCCLA Virginia State Fair contests. One student recycled a water bottle into a lantern, and another student created a recycled t-shirt project.
October began another busy month for FCCLA in Page County. At Luray High School, members worked with PACA to implement Red Ribbon Week activities. Members had students sign a pledge to stay drug-free and assisted with the NHS members, PACA, and the senior class in holding a trunk or treat. FCCLA members helped check seatbelts, giving out prizes for seatbelt safety, and established a hand painting station for the children. Around 90 students participated. Higher or lower? Higher. Over 100 students participated. It was a busy and exciting evening.
All 4 schools had entries in the Virginia FCCLA Pumpkin Decorating Contest in the month of October. Store America from Page County High School was the Level 3 winner. Luray Middle School used the pumpkins to promote positivity around the school with different positive sayings on them.
At Page County Middle School, members planned a fall festival with FFA and the Art Club. At this event, families participated in pumpkin painting, face painting, a photo booth, cornhole, fall crafts, and enjoyed food. Over 75 people attended the event. Higher or lower?
Higher. Higher.
Higher. Over 100 people participated in our fall festival.
Page County High School FCCLA is continuing the Uncovering Heroes project this year. To date, we have cleaned 50 veteran gravestones. Higher or lower?
Higher.
Higher. We have cleaned approximately 70 veteran graves with current requests for 40 additional graves. We have received donations for cleaning supplies from the town of Shenandoah and will be receiving another from the Women's Auxiliary of Shenandoah VFW. In addition, our members are headed to Wreaths Across America at Arlington National Cemetery. Our goal for wreath sponsorship is 50 wreaths. Currently, we have all 50 sponsorships. Higher or lower?
Higher.
Higher? Yeah. That is actually lower. We have 40 sponsorships at the moment. If you'd like to sponsor a wreath, the place on a veteran's grave, the cost is only $15. Please fill out the form and return it to PCHS FCCLA by November 25th.
Even though November is just getting started, area FCCLA chapters have lots of plans for the month. Luray High School will be assisting this month with the turkey trot by handing out food and prizes. Luray Middle School is currently doing a food drive with themed days to stuff Beatles Blessing Box and have created thank you crafts for local veterans. Luray Middle School is also partnering with Hawksbill Assisted Living to provide Thanksgiving greetings and providing Thanksgiving bingo cards and prizes. Page County Middle School wrote thank you letters to veterans through the Wounded Warriors Project. Page County High School served a snack box to 60 veterans this morning during the annual Veterans Day activities. Higher or lower?
Higher.
Lower. Approximately 20 snack boxes were served to veterans this morning. Sadly, attendance was lower than normal this year.
Last weekend, students from both Page County Middle School and Page County High School traveled to Washington, D.C. to participate in the FCCLA National Fall Conference. We joined members from across the nation to strengthen our leadership skills and learn more about FCCLA. We heard dynamic speakers, participated in workshops, and toured the nation's capital during a Moonlight and Monuments tour. At the conference, Page County High School was announced as one of the top 40 teams nationwide for the FCCLA Knowledge Bowl competition. They will be participating in round 2 next week for one of the 16 slots to compete at the National Fall Conference. Higher or lower? 500 FCCLA members attended the National Fall Conference. Higher or lower?
Higher.
Higher. 700 FCCLA members attended the National Fall Conference.
All 4 FCCLA chapters have many exciting plans for the remainder of the year, including attending both the Virginia State Leadership and Recognition Conference in April in Virginia Beach and the National Leadership Conference in San Diego, California in June. We hope to have students competing in competitive events and participating in a number of additional community service activities throughout the year.
We truly appreciate the tremendous support of the Page County School Board, central office staff, and our building administrators for all FCCLA activities. Our chapters and advisors are working hard to return to normal activities for all students wanting to be involved. We are proud of the outstanding reputation the FCCLA chapters from Page County Public Schools have obtained. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. The board likes to thank Ms. Comer and Ms. Miller. They're the sponsors that's here this evening. Thank you.
Yeah.
Our next agenda item is YPACA Student Youth Grant Winners Recognition and Presentation. I don't know who that is. Miss Gordon and Miss Campbell.
Good evening. Youth Page Alliance for Community Action members dedicated 2 weeks of their summer vacation to attend Community Anti-Drug Coalitions of America leadership training and the Youth Alcohol and Drug Abuse Conference. Their STAND plan addresses distracted youth driving by providing new drivers a physical toolkit, exercises, facts, and statistics to encourage safe and substance-free driving. So far, they have designed swag bags, keychains, and USB car chargers. We have collected local alcohol-related crash statistics from the Page County Sheriff's Department and are currently working on the facts and statistics card to include in the bag. YADAP's website explains that the strategies to act now or STAND plan is the focal point of YADAP. We have a lot of acronyms, sorry. Each YADAP team ends the conference with a developed STAND plan, which they then implement throughout the upcoming school year. Participants learn the leadership and prevention skills necessary to make a difference in their school and community through the following training topics: leadership, alcohol and other drug trends, networking and advocacy, fundraising, project planning, and virtual prevention strategies. The STAND plan follows the model of the Strategic Prevention Framework, and teams are trained on the center for substance abuse prevention strategies that must be utilized for the development of their plan. Our students won a $250 mini grant from YADAP to use toward implementing their plan. Please welcome Aubrey Campbell, Summer Forder, Whitney Miner, and Savannah Stanley.
Hello all, and welcome to our 2021 Page County STEM Plan. For your reference, the slideshow is presented behind you. I know it's a little inconvenient, but it's the best we can do. I am Summer Porter. I am a sophomore at Leroy High School, and these are my fellow workers. Would you?
I am Savannah Stanley. I'm a sophomore at Page County High School.
I'm Aubrey Campbell, and I'm in 8th grade at Leroy Middle School.
I'm Whitney Miner, and I'm a student at Page County High School. Oh, I'm Paul.
Our introduction to our STEM plan. Okay. Underage drinking and driving, distracted driving, and driving under the influence are problems in our community. The goal to our STEM plan is to reduce the numbers of teens under the influence, drinking and driving in our community. Our impact is to decrease the number of high school teens drinking and driving who are killed in crashes related to alcohol. Our further impacts, our partnerships with our local law enforcement and our schools should give us reputable data on the impact of our plan. Since I have put that in here, we have received data from the Page County Sheriff's Department, and I will share some statistics now. Across 2019 and 2020, there were 49 total car crashes involving alcohol. Just alcohol. We are not talking about driving distracted and or driving while looking at a cell phone. These are strictly alcohol-related crashes, resulting in nearly 28 serious injuries and 2 fatalities. 2 fatalities is still too many. These are people in our community. 28 injuries could have been people in our school. These are people that we know, people that we go and see in classes every day. This is a problem in our community that can be cured as simple as a little introduction to the problem and or education and statistics on why this is such a big problem in our school. So us, a concerned group of peers in our community, have come together to make a plan to solve this problem.
So we have created a STEM plan, which includes mini lessons for driver's ed students, toilet talks that we put up in the bathroom for students to read with driving tips on them, swag bags for driver's ed students graduates, Page County QR code scavenger hunt to earn points toward gas card prizes, incentives for good driving, and advertisement at gas pumps.
Some of our swag bag materials include drawstring bags, such as this. We have YPACA keychains, YPACA lanyards, and we plan in the future to get bumper stickers, sunglasses, car chargers, hand sanitizer, and first aid kits. Other examples that we have already received are right here, and Whitney will present them to you right now.
So what we currently have, or what we have that came in, is a keychain that I got the opportunity to design sometime around last year, but I'm not quite sure if it's been a year yet. So this is what it looks like. This is one of the items that go in the bag. And then a charger that just says YPACA on it. And like Savannah said, this is the bag.
For our financing, the things that we've already ordered, such as the drawstring bag, the pricing for that has been $696.98. And for the keychains, so far the ones that we've ordered have costed $1,047. And the YPACA car chargers costed us $821.70. And the rack cards with driving facts and tips estimated to cost about $300. They are also going to be little cards and information packets that we are going to put into the bags to then inform the people, the drivers, when they pass the class, to give them further tips.
So our time frame is this school year, And on this slide, which isn't currently up there, it mentions the partnerships within the community, like the school board, local representatives in law enforcement, and Page Alliance for Community Action. Our publicity includes YPACA social medias, posters, or other medias around the school and local newspaper.
Our goals. For reference, we will have a section of our driver ed classrooms that are specifically dedicated to our distracted driving unit. That is something that we'll be implementing more in the future, hopefully next semester, but it's coming along with our plan. Our goal is to efficiently lower the number of teens in our community who are drive distracted and or under the influence. Our goal and our hope is to continue our mini lessons in driver's ed and our prevention education around the community. In the future, we hope to see these numbers reduce significantly and go down around our peers and our friends in the community. We hope to lower the number of teens drinking and driving and involved in crashes relating to alcohol and make our roads safer. With that, does anyone have any questions?
Do you need donations?
No, we are fortunate to have the funding from our leadership conferences. Never mind.
So where is that sent, right? That's right. So where would that be sent, I guess?
So we are the youth division of PACA, so donations can be made to PACA, and we do receive funding through various grants and that type of thing, but like Megan said, we're never going to say no to funding, because the more money we have, the more opportunities.
So somebody can write a check to PACA and put in the memo YPACA, right? Okay.
Encouraged to do so.
Yeah, encourage you to do so. Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time tonight, and we encourage everyone to get out there and spread more education on distracted driving. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Campbell and Ms. Gordon. Next on our agenda is citizen comment. We have none this evening. Any form?
No.
Have none of those either. Oh, we have none. Ooh. I think we're going to have a lot of snow this winter.
I know.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. All right, on to the next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda. The only item that is under the consent agenda is approval of the personnel action that we had in closed session. Do I have a motion to approve the personnel action or the consent agenda?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion by Mrs. Smoot. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Painter.
Mr. Cooper.
Yes.
Mr. Lansing.
Yes.
Mr. Painter.
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan Smoot. Yes. Mr. Breeden.
Yes. Next on the agenda is monthly financial reports. Ms. Sechrist.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. You all have been provided with the monthly financial report for October with expenditures and revenue of $3,671,934.92. Along with that, you've been provided with the local match calculation that we did balance with the treasurer's office. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer.
Any questions? Hearing none. Move to the next item. Thank you, Ms. Sechrist.
Thank you.
Moving to the next item, and that's ESSER 2 funds update, new playground equipment for elementary schools. Mr. Benson and Mr. Williams.
Good evening, members of the board. Tonight, we're happy to bring forth a proposal from playground specialists. We have been working with them as part of our ESSER 2 application to make some upgrades and redos, so to speak, at all 4 of our elementary schools. In this packet, you will see that 2 of our elementary schools, beginning with Stanley Elementary and Luray Elementary, We'll get additional playground structures. Those totaling approximately $100,000 each. If you look at the packet that's been provided, you'll see that there are 2 quotes for each school. The higher of the 2 quotes was to potentially provide the rubberized surface and materials underneath the playground. Unfortunately, our ESSER funds won't allow for that, but we are hoping to be able to move forward with the replacements and or upgrades at all 4 elementary schools. You will see in this packet at Springfield Elementary an additional several structures. That is because it is the school division's intention to remove the wooden structure. That structure is currently not being used by students. It is past its useful life. We have students that are enduring injuries or getting splinters when they're on that equipment. So it is our intention to, with your approval, to remove that structure and replace it with the design that's in the packet here this evening. And the same is true at Shenandoah Elementary. At Shenandoah Elementary, the thing that you need to remember there is the terrain and topography of the outside play area outside the school. So we've been working with playground specialists to come up with a design that works. So you'll see something that, some structures and things that kind of sit on some of the plateaus that exist up there in the current site. We will work with possibly some community partners. That equipment is not necessarily beyond its useful use, so we would like to, once we replace the equipment there, possibly make a donation to a couple of different organizations and see that go into some good hands and continue to be used. As noted on the agenda item here this evening, this is part of our ESSER 2 application. So the funding for this project is provided. The description or the proposal talks a little bit about being able to create outside areas where students can spread out and get outside and take advantage of that. That's how we were able to justify this sort of proposal as part of our COVID funds. Be happy to answer any questions. I know Mr. Williams is here with me this evening, and we've been going back and forth with playground specialists, but we're excited about the project. All total, I would say to you, the school board, you're looking at approximately $550,000 to do all 4 elementary schools.
What's your time frame? I know it's informational and we'll vote on it, but what's the time frame you're hoping for the schools?
We would like to get started. Playground specialists say they'll work right through the winter. There's not many days that they don't work.
Okay.
Currently, we don't have students on a playground structure down at Springfield because it's just not of any use to us at this point. So we've been working with playground specialists to say we would like you guys to start there. So it's our intention, Mr. Painter, to have our local maintenance crew come in, remove the existing structure down at Springfield, take care of that, and then begin moving forward with this project.
Okay. That's a good detail about our guys removing it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if I could jump in terms of approval, this was approved back in the spring with the ESSER 2 funding.
Yes.
You guys tonight are going to approve the purchase order, and the purchase order's over 10,000. So if you approve tonight, we can actually begin with Playground Associates right away.
Okay.
This is the same group that's doing the Imagination Station in Luray for that replacement. So there was some cost savings there to continue with this. If you've priced playground equipment recently, I don't know how many of you have, but I think you'll find the costs are pretty high, and it doesn't take long for that to happen. As Dr. Fox referenced, as part of that ESSER 2 application, we were looking for things that were one-time expenditures that we could use these funds for, and we felt like, at that time, this certainly fit the bill for that.
The one thing I do want to point out
Sure.
Because in the purchase orders, it has Springfield Elementary getting 160 some thousand.
Yes.
And the other elementaries are getting 96,000 approximately.
Yep.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but that's because they have hardly any equipment there at all, where the other schools have had other equipment. It's just Springfield somehow has been forgotten over the years and have gotten not updated. So so when you see the disparity there, it's not really a disparity, it's to catch up because where the other schools have had other things and Springfield has not. Is that correct?
That's correct. And, I think you have to remember at two of the other elementary schools, Stanley and Luray, the structures that you see as part of these renderings are going to be in addition to what's there currently. So these are additional spaces that we are adding. I would like to add, Mr. Breeden, that at Shenandoah Elementary, the price is even a little bit higher. And that really, that price point comes because of the terrain that we're dealing with there.
You're on the slope.
You're working in a confined space, and we had to think about structures that would work for the flat area that we have at the school.
Yeah, because it's much of a slope.
Yeah, and what we're trying to do is obviously maximize, flat space that we have and provide a safe place for students to get out and play.
So as far as the content of each school, it's going to be similar pieces of equipment.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say Stanley and Luray are exactly the same. At Springfield, it looks a little bit different because we're adding additional structures for the replacement of the wooden structure. At Shenandoah Elementary, it looks a little bit different because of the topography.
What's the life expectancy of the new playground equipment?
Unfortunately, I can't speak to that.
Okay.
I think for those
It's
of you
at
that
12
have been
years.
around, it's been a while since we've put any playground equipment in.
Yeah.
12 years.
So we're hoping that this is taken care of, and it's going to be around for many years to come.
Okay.
Maybe with guarantee.
Any other questions from the board? Comments? Thank you, Mr. Benson.
Thank you.
Next item is superintendent's update. Dr. Fox?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Breeden. I'd like to begin tonight with just a short thank you to our veterans. It is Veterans Day today. So we would certainly like to take a moment to thank them and their families for their service and their sacrifice. And I don't know if we have any veterans here. If you are a veteran, would you please stand? Not sure if anybody here is.
We got one.
There we go, Mr. Lansbury. So thank you, Mr. Lansbury.
Thank you.
We also want to take a moment this week and recognize it is School Psychology Week. And the National Association of School Psychologists, their theme for this school year is Grow, Engage, Advocate, and Rise, or GEAR. And the theme challenges us all to grow both personally and professionally, to engage in best practice, to advocate for children's access to mental health and learning supports. And the R, Rise, implies resilience and renewal despite the past challenges. So we want to say thank you to our school counselors, especially Mr. Lindbergh, who's here and in person with us 5 days a week working with our students. So we just want to say thank you. And those that are with us virtually, we want to thank them for their work that they continue to do with our students and our staff. And just sharing with you our health update that we've been giving you guys each month. You'll see here, this is the daily case counts for the past 90 days, and you'll see it's moving in the right direction. We're excited to see that line continue to go down. We hope that that continues. I will say that the health departments are a little concerned about the upcoming holidays and just that we might see a little bit of an uptick. But the good news is we're seeing those numbers come down. What we are seeing, though, in terms of our core indicators, our total number of cases per 100,000 is coming down, but it's still in the high range. So again, we don't want to let down our guard and stop what we're doing, but there is encouraging news that those values are coming down. You'll see the same thing, the percentages of positive PCR tests. That number of percent is at 11.2%. Again, still in the high, but it is coming down. Those two indicators combined together give us a level of community transmission. And I apologize because I think every month I mess that word up. We're still in the high range But again, we're optimistic and hopeful that that downward trend will continue, and maybe next month or in January, if things go well, we can say to you that we're in the moderate or low. In terms of vaccine coverage, you'll see there again, as we've been seeing over the past couple months, there's a slight uptake in each of those age brackets, and we're still seeing some of that taking place across the different groups. For Page County, we're currently at 52.2% of our citizens are fully vaccinated, and that's 18 and older. Across the state, you're seeing that percentage at 71%. In terms of level of school impact, going back to this chart that we've used each month, where we look at the transmission within the school, student absenteeism, and staff capacity, you'll see that all of our schools are currently at low. And this is good news too. This is the second time in a row that we're seeing these values. So we hope that continues. And again, I will stress that the Department of Health is a little bit concerned about the upcoming holidays, that we may see some uptick after those periods, but we're hoping that we can not follow that trend and keep all of our schools in the low category. The other chart that we just started showing you, this is the October positive cases for PCPS, and you'll see that we took a nice decline in the middle of the month. It went up a little bit towards the end of the month. And that is for students and staff. The line at the top is for students, the one at the bottom is for staff. You'll see November positive cases. Again, we took a little bit of a decline, and remember, we only have 10 days in this chart, but we started to flatline a little bit for students, and with staff, you see a decrease there for those. In terms of the number of quarantines for October, you can see the students, again, that line is at the top, staff is at the bottom, and you'll see that those numbers for students were declining, a slight uptick towards the end of the month, but overall much lower than where we started the month. November quarantine, same thing, what you've seen in the past 10 days is a decline in the number of students and staff that are being quarantined. So I'll just stop there. Any questions about that health data before we move on? Okay, thank you. Just a reminder, we wanted to put this out there. We presented this information at the last meeting, but because it's coming up next week, we are coordinating with the Lord Fairfax Health District to offer free vaccine clinics to any children between the ages of 5 and 11. And this does require that a parent or a guardian be present, and they must give their consent. We are not doing this during the school day. We are not vaccinating children without their parents being present. And we are not requiring that students be vaccinated. On Monday, November 15th, the clinic is at Page High School from 4 to 7. And on Wednesday, the 17th, it's at Luray High School from 4 to 7. And then you'll see in this chart, the second dose date is there 21 days later. And again, you can go to either of those school sites to receive the vaccine, and it is the Pfizer vaccine. We have posted a flyer on our Division COVID-19 webpage with all of this information. Parents do need to sign up. There is a button there that they can click to register and sign up. So that information is out there and readily available. All right, and this is in reference to the agenda modification that I made this evening. We've been talking, I think, for the past couple of board meetings about some ways that we can work to support our teachers and staff in improving some of the mental health and well-being. We've also talked about different things that we can do for students. What I'm presenting to you all tonight is a recommendation to make a revision to the current academic calendar that we make Monday, December the 20th, Tuesday, December the 21st, and Wednesday, December the 22nd. We make those student and staff holidays. That will allow us to have 2 full weeks for the winter break. And I just think that that's what's needed as a part. It's not the answer to what we're seeing, but it's a part of helping to give people some time to rest, rejuvenate, and recover, to be able to come back and start the new year off in a very positive vein. That request would also include those 3 days off for our 12-month staff. We do feel comfortable making this recommendation at this time based on the number of hours that we have built into the system. Looking at the potential, we always know we might have some weather, inclement weather coming in the next couple of months. we feel we have some avenues there if we do get some weather that we would still be okay in including these 3 days as student and staff holidays. And we also want to talk and let our families know we understand the impact that this may have on them. But we're hoping that by announcing this and hopefully getting approval for it tonight from you all, that this leaves about 5 weeks for them to make adjustments in time for the 2-week winter break. So that will come up as an action item later for you this evening. Are there any questions before I move on to the last portion tonight? All right, and the last part I have for you is just some follow-ups of additional updates. We did submit our HVAC Coronavirus State and Local Financial Recovery Fund grant this past week. That was the additional $628,000 that was allotted to us by the state. It did require a local match. We used ESSER 3 funding to match that. And what we've decided in looking at it is we're going to have HVAC systems installed at the gymnasiums at Page County Middle School and at Luray Middle School. And that decision was made primarily because that not only benefits our students and staff while they're in school, but it can also benefit the community, as those 2 areas are used for some community events and activities. If there is any funding left, and that is a possibility because school divisions have to apply for this, and they have to also have the local match. So any divisions who may not utilize their funding, it goes into a pot at the state level, and then anybody who did receive funding is eligible to receive some of that additional funding that's left over. Our plan, if we get additional funding, is to then move to our elementary school gymnasiums and put HVAC in those areas. And then we just wanted to let you know that we're also applying for some additional funding through the American Recovery Plan for Homeless Children and Youth for a grant that was just made available. And that will just provide additional services to our homeless students and families across the division. So we're optimistic that we'll get that funding to support those families and students. And that is, other than that, we did want to just take a moment to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, as this is the only board meeting that we're having this month. So we just wanted to wish all of our faculty, our staff, our students, and our families and the board a happy Thanksgiving, and we hope that everyone enjoys some downtime and gets a little bit of rest over the break. That's all I have for you all this evening.
I have one question. So on the HVAC, is Luray Middle School's gym going to get that?
Mm-hmm.
They will. Okay.
Page Middle and Luray Middle, both their gyms.
Both their gyms.
Yep.
Perfect.
Thank you, Dr. Fox.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Moving on to the next item, there are action items. The first action item is claim for payment, and that's Ms. Sechrist.
Good evening again, board. You all have been provided with the claim certification for operating expenditures were $156,030.87. Food service expenditures, $34,027.51 for total expenditures of $190,058.38. Along with that, you've been provided with the list of claims as well as a check register. And if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them.
Any questions? Hearing none, do I have a... But you had a question.
Excuse me, sorry.
Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the claim for payment?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the claims for payment as presented.
I have a motion from Mr. Painter. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from, I think I heard Mr. Lansbury.
Mr. Google.
Oh, you want Mr. Gubler?
It's done now.
Okay. Second from Mr. Gubler.
Mr. Gubler.
Yes.
Mr. Lansbury.
Yes.
Mr. Painter.
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan Smoot.
Yes.
Mr. Breeden.
Yes. Next item on the agenda, action item is purchase orders over 10,000. Ms. Sechrist?
Yes, board, we have several purchase orders this evening over 10,000 for your approval. The first 2 are Presence Learning using special education funds. The next one is a Power School purchase order using local technology. Then you will see the 4 there for the playground equipment that Mr. Benson discussed earlier, and they are done separately so that they can be delivered to each location. And then the last one is for a fire panel at Stanley Elementary School, and that would be coming from local O&M funds. you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the purchase orders presented over $10,000 for approval.
Okay, I have a motion from Mrs. Smoot. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Mr. Lansbury.
Mr. Lansbury.
Yes.
Mr. Painter.
Yes.
Mr. Brookhaver.
Yes.
Mr. Solis. Yes. Ms. Freed.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item on the action item is overnight field trip request. Mr. Benson?
Good evening, board members. We have received an overnight field trip request from Luray High School, and this request comes from the TSA Club, which is Technology Education. They are seeking to go to Hatfield, VA, for an overnight competition. There are approximately 9 students that will be going, and they will be taking one of our 10-passenger vans. So that's a good use of that sort of vehicle for this type of thing. There is just one chaperone that is a male, but there will be other female chaperones at the event. And the costs associated with this trip will be covered through our Perkins funds. So there will be no cost for the students. And be happy to answer any questions if you have them.
One night event, 2 nights?
It's actually it's a 2-night event, and students will be staying at cabins at the camp.
Any other questions? We have a motion to approve the overnight field trip.
I move that we approve the overnight field trip as presented.
Have a motion from Mr. Gubler. Do I have a second?
A second.
I have a second from Mrs. Smoot.
Mr. Painter.
Yes.
Mr. Buford.
Yes.
Mr. Lansbury.
Yes.
Mr. Solis. Yes, I'm sorry. Mr. Freed.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is policy update BDDH and KD, public presentations at school board meetings and the regulations, BDDH-R and KD-R, public relations at school board meetings. Dr. Fox?
Yes, so we've provided for you a red line copy of the regulation, and there is also a hard copy of the actual policy because there was a question brought up by Dr. Painter. So if you would like, we can start with the regulation, and please know that whatever changes we make to BDDH-R, we'll make those same adjustments to KD-R. They're identical, they just come in 2 different places in the policy manual. So there's the red lines, you can see the comments, and this was based on your feedback that you provided at the last meeting. So certainly, I'm happy to clarify any of that information for you. With respect to the actual policy, the question was in reference to the statement at the end of the last paragraph. Was that in contradiction to something that you all wanted that was going to be specified in the regulation? So we just need some clarity on that. And if we need to update the regulation with respect to that.
All right, I'll start with the BDDH and KD as standing policy. It's highlighted. Do you all have a copy of that? Okay, it's highlighted. Is that statement, that last statement in that policy, is that still what the board wants, or is there a change to that the board wishes to make? Yeah.
Okay. I'm okay with what's there.
Because what had come up is because if there's 2 people, once both people speak, or if it's one person, they can continue for another 3 minutes.
Right.
I'm okay.
All right, so the policy as it is fine with the board, so there's no action on that to be taken. The only question is now the regulation that goes with those two policies, which are identical, because those policies are identical, just located in two different sections of the policy manual. Are any questions on this? Any additional changes? Okay, hearing none, no questions. Do I have a motion to approve the regulations as amended?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the recommendations as amended for the BDDH, KD, public participation at school board meetings, BDH-R, KD-R, public participation at school board meetings.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the regulations. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Lansbury. And before the vote, are there any discussion, debate? I will say one thing, and this will lead to why you will know what my vote will be, but one of the changes that is made is that the written comments submitted online through the online form would not be read into the record. I'm against that. I believe if they took the time to write it, it's not a guarantee that every board member will read it, but if they're present at the board meeting, every board member will hear it. So I just want to go on the record with that, so you can do the roll vote.
Mr. Goodwin.
Yes.
Mr. Lansbury.
Yes.
Mr. Patton.
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Breeden.
No. Thank you. The next item is board member discussion time.
No, the additional item.
Oh, the calendar.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everybody.
See, it's not written for me. We have the 8.05, the calendar, the academic calendar changes.
I'd like
Yes.
to make a motion.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Nope, you're good.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the academic calendar revisions as presented by Dr. Fox at our meeting tonight.
Second?
I have a motion from Mr. Painter and a second from Mr. Gubler.
Mr. Goodwin.
Yes.
Mr. Lansbury.
Yes.
Mr. Painter.
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Breeden.
Yes. Now, moving on to the board discussion period.
Well, I would like to take this time to personally say to all employees of the Page County Public School System, hats off to all of you for all that you've dealt with in the last 2 years, currently now, and we have our students back in school, which I think is wonderful. But it's because of all of our staff that this is possible. And most everyone is going beyond the call of duty to make sure that every day is successful as best it can be. And so to you out there, parents, if you're listening, we need your help. We need your support. I say we, I'm focusing on the employees of Page County Public Schools. We need your help to make sure your children are coming to school, that you're keeping up with what they need to do, asking questions if you need to, whatever the case may be. And tonight, sitting here, listening to two groups of students, you know, it just does my heart so much good to hear that positivity, because you sure don't hear it when you turn on the news. And here we have students in our school system who are out there trying to make a difference. PICA, against drug and alcohol and driving and all that. Young people, they already know it needs to change. They're our future. Thank goodness for programs as such. The FCCLA, Page County High School has the record right now, and I may be wrong, but right now, 3 years ago, we had the youngest FCCLA president in the history of the Virginia chapter. And it may have been a national thing. She was a junior, Kennedy Strickler. Those students don't become successful on their own. The leadership, of their teachers and their advisors brings it to the top. And aren't we lucky to have the staff that we have in this county? So at Thanksgiving, remember all of them, because without them, we wouldn't have much. And these students need them. And these students need the parents to be involved. So I just commend to all of you. Thank you for all that you do every second of every day, because you may not realize it now, but oh my goodness, are you ever making a difference? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith.
I just wanted to say thank you to Dr. Fox for adding those extra 3 days of off for teachers and staff and for the kids prior to Christmas. That's important because I hear about the discipline problems in other counties. My wife works in an adjacent county, and there's discipline problems with kids. There's learning losses we all know about. Teachers are struggling. Kids are struggling. And it's important, I think, for those folks to recharge. So I think it's important. Under a normal year, I would say we need that instructional time. But this isn't a normal year. So I'm all in favor of it.
Thank you. And if I may interject, I want to thank the Teacher Advisory Council, because this came organically from them. They asked if this could be a possibility. So I want to give them credit for being brave enough to come to the table to present some things that would be helpful to them. And I will speak on everyone's behalf that we thank the board for making this adjustment in support of that. So thank you all for that.
And just a couple other things. And again, thank PCPS for sponsoring the optional offering of the two COVID vaccine offerings on November 15 and 17 for kids 5 to 11. That's great. I appreciate that. And I think the community will appreciate it. Again, it's optional. And then also booster shots are essentially available for anyone at this point. There's no age restriction or so they're available. It's just an FYI. Thank you.
I have two more things. Somebody else? Oh, go ahead, Joanne.
Yeah, I had the privilege of attending the National Honor Society candle lighting service, and I just want to run through a couple names here. First off, Mr. Kale, Mrs. Nickerson, and Miss McCauley. Thank you for sponsoring that and making that happen. The senior president is Abby McInturf. The junior president is Marta Milam. The senior vice president is Mason Hilliard. Junior vice president is Braden McKay. Secretary is Leah Dallas. Treasurer is Landry Burns. And I'm just proud of all those kids. And it's a whole list of kids. It's like 20-some kids that were had their candles lit. So hats off to them, and that's what we're here for. This is neat stuff. The kids, the young people that presented today, very well spoken, very impressive. Now I want to thank them for that, and the things that they're doing are great. They really are. Taking care of veterans' graves, reefs, and keeping people safe. It's good stuff. Mental health. At the rec center, we have mental health Mondays. For any young person that needs to talk about mental health, it's the third Monday of every month. And if you don't feel comfortable going down there by yourself, hit me up on social media. I will go with you. It's important for us to be in a good place mentally to function well. I want to echo, this is Sullivan Smoot's comments. Thank you to the admin that are here. Thank you to the teachers, bus drivers, custodians, all the substitutes. I know it's tough. I've heard it. You're having to be the mask police. You're having to have a class where there's levels of students in every level of understanding of the subject. It's a tough time. And Dr. Fox, thank you for reaching down to all the different levels of school and getting these kind of comments and making adjustments and making them happen. Thank you so much. Parents, you have to be involved with your kids. You have to make sure they're coming to school and that they're doing their work. It puts an extra burden on the teachers when you don't do that. We need you involved and active. And I challenge you to reach out to the teachers and say, what can my student do better in the classroom? And then go back and talk to your student what they can improve. That's important to do that. And our veterans, we have one here on the board. Thank you so much.
I don't know whether it's this weekend or next weekend, but Page County High School has 3 track members that are going to the state meet.
Cross country.
Cross country, I'm sorry, yes, cross country. So we wish them good luck. And Dr. Fox, I just want to thank you for finally creating an atmosphere that employees come and they share their thoughts and concerns and ideas. I appreciate that, and I know they do.
Anyone else? I have one thing to add to attach to what Mrs. Smoot was saying. Please, staff and students, if you have a concern, we have a superintendent that does want to hear from you. We have a superintendent that wants to make things great here. She can only do that if you let her know. She will reach back out to you. She is a very busy woman, and please understand that if she doesn't get back to you within an hour, I've had a complaint about that. She is very busy. She has a large school division to run with many employees and students to take care of. So please reach out to her, let her know your thoughts. Please let her know what is going well. We hear so much so often what doesn't go well. It is nice to hear from people who have something to praise about the school system. So reach out about that too, but definitely let her know about concerns, because sometimes it doesn't always reach to that level, and it may need to reach to that level. I know the board would appreciate that. We love hearing from you. So you have avenues. So please help us make the school system the greatest it can be. Anyone else? Anything else, Dr. Fox?
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, then, do I have a motion for adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion from Mrs. Smoot.
Second.
I have a second for Mr. Painter.
Mr. Lansbury.
Yes.
Mr. Painter.
Yes.
Mr. Goodwin.
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan.
Yes.
Mr. Breeden.
Yes.